Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Ansel Lindner, Bitcoin and Markets. Hope you guys are doing well out there. We're going to go over a couple quick blog posts that I put out this week. Make sure you guys are subscribed over there on bitcoinandmarkets.com. Like, comment, subscribe down below. And let's jump into these real quick. So Bitcoin signs of life. Bitcoin has jumped up in price over the last couple of days. So we're going to go through a few of these things. Now, fake out pattern. I identified a false breakout pattern weeks ago on my content here. Historically, it was a fairly safe strategy in Bitcoin to buy these breakouts. So you can see these breakouts have failed, but usually, if you go back in Bitcoin's past, every time it broke out to a new all-time high, that was a good place to go long with a tight stop loss, right at that old all-time high, and then you can ride it up. This is a strategy that people use in traditional markets as well, but it was very successful in Bitcoin for a long time. But these were fake breakouts here, all-time high. This is the current all-time high. You can see it didn't make it. It didn't even make it past coming out of this downward trend. It fell even more to a new lower level, broke out beginning of this year, but that failed as well, came down to a new lower level. We had a breakout here, and then we did recently start coming out of this. So we did break this pattern earlier, reaching up to a new all-time high. And yesterday we did end up breaching this previous high that was a false breakout. So very interesting what's going on in Bitcoin. Real quick, let's take a look at the current chart. So if we take a look at the current chart, you can see yesterday we did break just barely above this previous high from March 17th. So that marked the highest price by a few dollars since for February. Day ended up closing down, but it is going to close up today, which is a good sign. Continuing above 75,000, we will see if we can start approaching some of these other levels. Okay, back to the blog post. This next chart up, Bitcoin is breaking this downtrend. So if we extend the downtrend from the all-time high, hitting this high towards the beginning of the year that what did end up to be a false breakout, we are breaking above that trend line as well. So that is, I think, at least an important data point to mark. If you look at the 100-day moving average, which isn't the most popular moving average out there, it is the 50-day moving average that would be the ones you want to look at the most. But the 100-day is also a fairly well subscribed to moving average. And my version of technical analysis is these are Schelling points. So you want to look at things that other people are looking at, as well as what other proprietary type trading algorithms will have built in. So a lot of these algorithms will have the 50-day moving average built into these proprietary indicators and trading algorithms. And so you really want to pay attention to that 50-day moving average. The 100-day is less subscribed to, but it is still used out there. And you can see we are pressing right up on that 100-day moving average, just like we did back here at the beginning of the year. So this isn't confirming a breakout, but it's saying it's time to pay attention. So let's try to identify some resistance zones. Here is the short-term hodler realized price, short-term holder realized price. It's sitting at 81,000. If the new UTXOs that are 155 days or younger, this is their average price is 81,000. And so that kind of serves as some resistance to the price. After clearing 81, this next level, this white line, is going to be the bottom of this last step, as well as the 200-day moving average you can see coming down here. That is also that will provide some resistance, because clusters of orders in the order book, they happen around these important levels. And so as the price moves into these important levels, there will be an increase in volume, and it will slow the price down, if not completely reverse the price, reverse the trend. So we'll have to wait and see how this comes up. But these are the next important levels, 81 and around 85,000 for these two right here. All right, so let's move on to the next blog post I just put out today. Professor Zhang, he doesn't understand decentralization. So let's play this video and see if we can hear it.
So the moment people recognize that this is a CIA operation, people won't put their money into blockchain. People won't put their money into Bitcoin. They'll be like, I mean, why would I do that? You have to ask yourself this question: where are the blockchain servers located? right? Because I imagine if you're able to control the hardware, you can also control the software. I don't care what they tell me about open source and all that. I want to know where the databases are, where the servers are physically.
So this guy laughs at the end because it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, man. Yeah, this is a basic category error in Bitcoin. The fundamental innovation of Bitcoin is a lack of centralized servers and the creation of a distributed consensus. So this is a limitation of midwittery. So this is just clearly he is a midwit. So he teaches at a silly high school called Moonshot Academy. I listened to a couple of his things early on. It was really fundamentally biased, and so I couldn't get behind anything he said, even from the very first video that I saw of him. I muted the words Professor Zhang on my Rogue Macro account, and yeah, this is just really bad stuff. It's like saying, "Show me the HTML servers. Where are they physically?" That's the level of misunderstanding we're dealing with. HTML is a protocol. It doesn't exist on a server. Bitcoin does. I mean, there are nodes for Bitcoin, but there's no like servers, centralized servers that Bitcoin exists on. It's not a company and it's not controlled by a few servers in centralized locations. Bitcoin is a protocol that runs on a distributed network of nodes operated independently all over the world. Each node stores and verifies the ledger. Each node enforces the rules. There's no main copy, only consensus across many copies. Download the software and run it. Nodes and miners exist in every corner of the planet. Zhang's home country, China, tried to stop it with some success domestically, but the network routed around it. This level of thinking is everywhere, unfortunately. Most people can only grasp Bitcoin through this lens. They don't understand decentralization, and they can only grasp it through a lens of centralization. They're unable to grasp what Bitcoin actually is. This exact type of ignorance explains why some gold bugs to this day still don't understand or accept Bitcoin. They know the talking points by now: 21 million, 10-minute settlement, but they can't internalize decentralization and how that makes its properties immutable. You are in control of your own node and it doesn't register with them at all. So, for example, you can't just change the 21 million willy nilly. The CIA can't get together and say, we want to change 21 million or we want to change a 10-minute block time. That does not, that cannot happen because it's decentralized. We spent years early in Bitcoin arguing against altcoins as centralized scams. I often said decentralization is not just a nice thing to have. You either start decentralized and guard it zealously, or you are centralized. So a lot of these altcoins they would launch with, uh, they would have master keys, and they would say, "Oh, after a while, after a period of adoption, we'll get rid of these master keys and we will decentralize our project." Well, that's not the way things work. You can never get rid of that. You'll never build towards decentralization. You're either decentralized and you guard it zealously, or you're centralized. But the reason why they could do that and why they did have some success, at least in pumping their market value and extracting a lot of value from unsuspecting victims, is because people do not understand decentralization conceptually. They don't understand that conceptually, and this is the thing that Jean is falling into here as well. They fail to see that this technology, its benefits and strengths over legacy networks, is entirely derived from decentralization. That's what he fails to see. Zhang fails to see this. That's why they think centralized altcoins can be legitimate. And it's also why people say things like, show me the servers. Let's take a quick look at some reactions here on Twitter. Make sure you guys are following me at Ansel Lindner. So I put out this tweet just saying this is the opinion of so many midwits, just what we went over. Great meme. Great meme. The files are in the computer. Perfect. Is this guy's 15 minutes of fame up yet? Yeah, I think, he is an anti-American tool. He's being used by a lot of these outlets that are trying to push separation, disunity in MAGA and in the United States right now. So I think he's going to be around for a little while. Imagine if he understood the fiat monetary system. Yes. Decentralization and showing these servers. Yeah, I would respond to this by saying this is one of 100 or 1,000 just like it. This is an interesting comment. So you have to choose to not try running your own node or observing someone else doing it. to be this retarded. Yeah, I think that is the case. A lot of people's aha moments come from actually transacting in Bitcoin or running your own node or, using your own node to secure your own Bitcoins. And so that is a very interesting take. This guy says he's not a midwit, he's a Chinese agent and he's pushing it to the normies. Yeah, I think he's still a midwit. I think he's still a midwit. If he wasn't a midwit, he would have better pushback. He's retarded, but the etymology of Satoshi Nakamoto literally means central intelligence. I've seen things like that. It doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't mean that. Didn't come from that. He's got us guys. Bitcoin is over. Okay. Okay. You see what's been going on with Stretch. You've been seeing what's going on with Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. I mean, the big boys are coming in. The big asset allocators are coming in. This thing is going to happen. It's not going away. Bitcoin is right now somewhat suppressed, but it's not over by any means. It's the big money is just coming in. You got to think about bottom up adoption versus top down adoption. I've thought for a long time. I mean, a lot of people talk about unbanked, and I would probably have been in that camp very early on in my Bitcoin life. But you shortly come to realize that you could have a million people putting $10 into Bitcoin and it wouldn't really move the needle, right? Or you could have one guy put $1 billion in, and that's going to move the needle. So these big asset allocators are where this is going to come from. So Bitcoin is not over by any means. It's just getting warmed up. Bitcoin didn't start out decentralized, LOL. Well, you're right. There was one miner, maybe two, three miners in the first 10 blocks or so, but it was a fact that by nature anybody could join. It was open to come in, and the way that the software is designed to not have a central authority. It just happened that there was one, but as soon as there was two miners, it was decentralized by nature. It was designed decentralized. The strongest proof Bitcoin isn't a government project. No government would design something it can't shut down. Yes, and that has been an argument from the very beginning. People would push back and say, look, even if it were designed by the NSA or the CIA, it's out of their control now. You can read the code, you can run the code. Everything is open source. They are not in control of it now. And so even if it were designed by the NSA or the CIA, it's not in their control anymore. All right, that's going to be it. Guys, make sure you check out bitcoinandmarkets.com. Subscribe. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.